AD versus Scott Reisch. AD, a prolific liar, a fictional storyteller, a drama queen, a total BSer. Scott Reisch, more fact-based, has an education, has a background in law, doesn't embellish, doesn't tout conspiracy theories to get attention, has twice the viewership, twice the subscribers, or more than that, than AD, without using conspiracy theories to get his audience, and has a wide variety of audiences as well. Now, both of them, both AD and Scott Reisch, get on my nerves. AD gets on my nerves a lot more because he's a prolific liar, a pathological liar, and nothing he says that's going to happen with regard to the Watts case ever come true. A few months ago, he claimed that Sheridan Cadle came to him and told him that she had proof that there were going to be more arrests in the Watts case. As you can see, that never happened because he was lying, and so was Sheridan Cadle, lying to sell her book, using AD's channel to promote her book, which is full of lies. If anything that comes out of Chris Watts' mouth is true, then I am Bruce Springsteen. So, on one hand, we have AD who uses conspiracy theories to dangle the carrot at an audience who are gullible, vulnerable, and mostly full of middle-aged women who don't like NK. And then you have Scott Reisch, who has a background in law and is very knowledgeable and doesn't tout conspiracy theories, doesn't need conspiracy theories to get an audience. Now, let me say, I watched AD talking the other night. I don't watch him very often, but I do every now and again. And I saw Kelly on his show, and his ability to lie, and to lie without a conscience, and to make up stories. First of all, this idea that there is some deadline for Chris Watts to get a 35C and it's his last chance, his last great hope, is a pile of BS. Because Chris Watts doesn't have a single solitary chance to ever be released from prison. So the idea that AD is this great white hope and everything stands on him and everything is in his hands and we're all trying to stop him because there's some deadline is a pile of crap. It's just a pile of nonsense. The idea that Chris Watts is innocent, that he doesn't remember what happened, is the most absurd and ridiculous thing I have ever heard. And I'm going to do a podcast on Dave, the liar, as well one day, because he's another liar and AD wannabe. Now, let me just say, Scott Reisch, I like him. He's fact-based, or he sticks more to the facts. He's personable. He tells it like it is without using conspiracy theories and lies the way that AD does. The only problem that I have with Scott Reisch, and the one thing that gets on my nerves, is that he's constantly on a numbers game. Oh, we need more subscribers. Can you please do our Facebook? Go to our Facebook group, press the like button, please subscribe. That really, really irritates me because I think his head has gotten a little bit too big because of the following that he has. I think has gotten to his head a little bit. However, that's to be expected. Scott Reisch is only human and he's not perfect. He's also been wrong about some things. However, generally speaking, he doesn't use lies and conspiracy theories to get attention, to get views. He speaks from the heart. He speaks from his knowledge of law and the court system and his knowledge of crime and his experience. And he is not constantly pretending that he knows more about the Watts case than anyone else. and he doesn't use Nicole Kessinger as a scapegoat the way that AD does. AD has built his channel around hate for NK. And I noticed that when he does uploads that don't get as much attention, he always reverts back to the Watts case, and he always dangles Nicole Kessinger as the carrot to get the attention, because that's what his audience like. Because his Jack the Ripper tour and you know his views around London and traveling around London, that didn't get them like when he goes back to the Watts case. That's why he went back to the Watts case. Now AD has a large viewership. I'm not saying that he doesn't. His channel has done very, very well, but it's done well with lies and conspiracy theories and absolute, complete and utter untruths. And he doesn't have a wide variety of an audience. He has a specific audience, and that's fine. You can build an audience on a very specific niche, and his niche is middle-aged women who are gullible and vulnerable. So I'm not saying that he doesn't have a large viewership. I admit with absolute certainty that he has a large viewership, but he's built his viewership based upon complete and utter lies, cons, scamming, and this idea that there's some deadline for Chris Watts for his 35C is just another pile of nonsense that he's just touting. Because even though he claimed when Kelly the Avocado was on his channel, even though he claimed that he'd finished investigating the Watts case and he wasn't going to talk about it anymore, soon enough, the next day after saying that, he went straight back to the Watts case, because that's the only thing that the con artist has ever made money out of. Now, I do want to talk about Kelly the Avocado, Kelly the Advocate, for a short time. I have no personal beef with Kelly. I'm not an enemy of her. I'm not going to bash her. I'm just going to simply state my opinion. And that is, she was never a friend of the Rucheks in the first place. She was never an advocate. She just wanted to attach her name to a famous crime case. That's all it is. She was never an advocate. And going on Natasha's channel was enough. I believe that she has the right to tell her side of the story, just like I believe that the Rucheks have the right to tell their side and to withdraw from her or to distance themselves from her. Like I said, I'm not on any side. I'm not any team. I've never been on any side or any team. I'm not in any group. I'm not on any tag teams in this case. I'm interested in truth. Human behavior is what I specialize in, and true crime. I'm not interested in being on one side or another. I speak from my own objective, and I'm an independent thinker. I don't think in terms of my political affiliation or anything like that. I think in terms of truth when it comes to true crime. And I've realized, as I've been on YouTube for, a little over a year. I only started my channel just slightly over a year ago. I haven't been on, I haven't had a channel as long as AD has. I opened an account many years ago, but I only recently started my channel as far as I'm concerned. But I realized that true crime on YouTube is not about truth so much as it is conspiracy theories, particularly when it comes to the Watts case. It's all about gossip. It's all about conspiracy theories. It's all about somebody telling you or telling their audience what they think their audience wants to hear. With me, you get the truth. You get the truth from my perspective. I'm not going to lie and make conspiracy theories up and tell stories, fictional stories to get views. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'd rather build my channel on truth and do it the hard way. AD is a complete and utter liar, and November the 5th has no significance on the Watts case whatsoever. Chris Watts is not going to get a 35C. He's never going to be released, and he's going to be in prison for the rest of his life. And the truth channels, who have done a fantastic job of exposing him, none of us, I don't consider myself a truth channel. I'm a fact-based channel, and I talk about human behavior, and I use true crime, pop culture, as narratives, as examples to talk and discuss human behavior. So I don't consider myself a truth channel, but even though the truth channels have done a phenomenal job of exposing AD, unfortunately, there has been a complete failure to get him removed from this platform. Somebody who lies as much as he does, somebody who cons and scams people, who's scamming people, vulnerable women, out of their money, should not be on YouTube. And I'm just absolutely devastated and crestfallen. And I just can't understand why he's still on this platform telling people lies. Nothing that he ever says ever comes forth. It never comes true. The fact that he said that there were going to be other arrests in the Watts case never came true. The fact that he said that he was helping the family with an appeal was all lies, because Chris Watts isn't eligible for an appeal. The fact that he said the case was going to change, nothing has changed in the Watts case. The only thing that has happened is that his family have tried to get him out of prison, and they've all failed to do so. Just like the truth channels have failed to bring him down, his parents, Chris Watts' parents, they've failed to be able to get their son out of prison. They're not going to get the support that they think that they have. They have support, but they're not going to get the support that they think they have. Back to KELLEY, she was never the Ruchek's friend in the first place. And I'm not saying that Frankie was right to do what he did. I'm very disappointed that if it is in fact true that Frankie was asking for money, I don't agree with that. I don't think it's right. It's unacceptable to me. But Frankie didn't kill anyone. And Frankie is not going around on YouTube spreading lies, making up stories to get money out of people. I'm not making any excuses for Frankie's behavior. If he was asking for money, from women, or setting up GoFundMe pages, knowing that he wasn't going to use the money to bring AD to court, then that's wrong. But at least he's not going on a live night after night lying about a horrendous tragedy that's caused so much pain to so many people. And I'm really, really angry that his channels are still standing and that he's still able to spew absolute nonsense and have people actually believe it. I have a woman come into my channel the other day saying that AD solved the Watts case because he found some shadows. When has finding shadows ever solved a crime case? You name me one crime case where someone has cracked the case because they found some shadows. I mean, give me a break. So even though I have my qualms about Scott Reisch, I think the success of his channel and his audience numbers have gotten to his head a little bit, and he's always talking about plumping up those numbers. That gets on my nerves sometimes. I still am grateful for someone like Scott Reisch because he doesn't talk nonsense on a daily basis. He is fact-based. He is knowledgeable. He's never ever used Nicole Kessinger as a scapegoat. He's never tried to tout conspiracy theories or lies. He acknowledges that that Chris Watts has absolutely zero chance, or almost zero chance, of ever being released. And he doesn't pretend that he is the savior or solver of the Watts case. So although Scott Reisch gets on my nerves as well to an extent, I am very grateful that not only does he have a much wider viewership and larger viewership than AD, but he doesn't tout these ridiculous lies to get attention. And, for the mainstream media, the Watts case has been closed for a long time. And this idea that AD is trying to put forward that Chris Watts didn't do anything, that he's innocent, that he doesn't remember what happened, that, he didn't kill the children. It's very, very dangerous to go around talking such nonsense about a very tragic crime case. Chris Watts, what he did was beyond horrific. Beyond horrific. And for AD to sit there and talk about Chris Watts being innocent, as well as seeking the truth with Dave, more like seeking lies with Dave, I'm absolutely appalled that he's able to sit on YouTube night after night and spew absolute barbaric trash nonsense. It is a disgrace that he's allowed to get away with doing this. Absolute disgrace. And I'm very disappointed that the Rucheks haven't been harsher on him, that they haven't tried to bring him to court. I'm very disappointed because he really needs to be removed from this platform. And I'm going to keep saying it. I'm absolutely disgusted at AD. I really am. I'm absolutely disgusted.